This is TWiT.
Well, can I ask a question from the chat room? I thought this was a really interesting question. Mm-hmm. Jamie Lee Curtis asked it too, which kind of made me want to.
I was hoping she was in the chat room, but go on.
She's in there. She's on X. Here,
She's in a closet hiding from the.
I'll pop it up for you. Totally random. Always want to know from Richard and Paul who they rank as their top 3 CEOs of Microsoft.
I've only been 3 CEOs.
There's only been 3.
That was a trick question.
All 3 of them. Ballmer, Gates, and Nadella. Yeah,
I think we can all agree they were terrible in their own ways. And I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Jamie Lee. Yeah, you know what? She's just here to promote Halloween 18. It's not. Don't worry about it. Forget.
No, where did the Jamie Lee Curtis thing come from?
That's the name of the Twitter account? But as you know, on Twitter, anything.
Ballmer's by far the most fun.
He's the most fun. Nadella, I think, is easily. Well, do you think Nadella's better than Gates?
Okay, every one of them is fascinating in their own way because Gates obviously founded the company and the race to success
and took it from nothing to everything.
Yep. So he'll always have that. He has some problematic aspects, but okay. We were just talking about antitrust. Antitrust was when he lost interest in being the CEO of Microsoft. So he became chief science officer, and .NET happened, and whatever. History is history.
He was chief architect. Yeah.
Chief architect, software architect. Sorry. And Steve Ballmer is an accountant. So we have this period of time where Microsoft
bean
is
counter
is not led by an engineer, which is weird, right? For a company like
Microsoft, which was a problem. It definitely, you point to the issues with Ballmer. It was that he wasn't an engineer, but Ballmer's blessing is that he kept the company together. He got that deal done.
He, Tim Cook, not an engineer, kind of similar. He's done okay.
He's an operations guy, though, and these days that's a very important part of because Apple's a products company, right?
Become a strength for Apple.
I think as history gets written and rewritten, I think Steve Ballmer will be looked on kindly because he was the one who really jump-started the Microsoft we know today with the cloud focus and that kind of thing. So,
and then knew he was an impediment to it and got out of the way.
And he got out of the way. Satya Nadella, I told the story last week, but I met him once, and I might have told this on the show too. Ward Ralston introduced me to him as part of the server team a million years ago, and I shook his hand and said, "Oh, good, fresh meat."
Nice.
It's weird that we've never spoken since.
That's when he took over from Muglia, right? When he took over as president server in Jones.
It just, not a lot of
journalists.
I still have a job. Anyway, but he's interesting because he was not interesting. He was kind of this cold, robotic, whatever. But the company blew through the roof.
He only was when he went to CEO school. Like when he was the Bing guy, he was pretty great. Like but when he became CEO, remember he had a really tough first year, and they sent him to finishing school, and he became very stiff for a couple of years.
There's a lot of people. I mean, Terry Myerson was like this. It's hard. It's hard to get.
So hard.
It's this is a weird set of skills to have.
Well, to take that much feedback with that much research behind it and try and get all of that language right, it's not normal.
Yeah. No, he's an engineer.
I don't know that Nadella has spoken normally since.
Right. I used to joke that you could take one of his speeches and use the summarized feature in Word and you'd come up with 0 words. There would be nothing there, right? But the thing is, he did this when he came in, and he's done this now since, where there's a behind-the-scenes part of Nadella that's not super public yet, where this guy's kind of an assassin, actually.
The lynching of Stephen Elop sent ripples through the whole company.
Well, just the whole Office Space scene where he brings in H team and says, "What do you do here exactly?" Yeah. And the idea being that they had to justify themselves as a business that could be profitable. They didn't have to be right, but they had some plan for that. They didn't have to be subsidized by Windows or whatever else was keeping the company afloat at the time, and they had to make sense within the strategy that was happening under him, which was this cloud computing push. And he's done it again with AI, and we've actually seen some of that where he basically said, "Look, you don't have to do this, but you'll be gone if you don't do this." Yeah. And he's turned into, this is slow and steady wins the race. And then AI happened, and he was like, almost too chaotic.
And the argument, the way I've heard it described, is he spent the past few years getting the company honed for the moment he wrote that letter.
Okay. Well, that's.
He was looking for a thing, and when the thing appeared, he moved the whole company.
It happened so abruptly.
Because it's not that he didn't make the thing; he found the thing.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people a lot of Microsoft leaders would naturally not necessarily go toward that thing, right? They want to be the inventors of the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it was good on him. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's too early to rate him against the other two, but
yeah. Okay, let's talk about AI again next year and see where we still don't have product. Like how's it looking? How's that 20 billion looking now?
Yeah, this is right. This, I've joked about this licensable moment thing. I mean, I think the thing Microsoft has done the most differently, other than just the speed, is trying to monetize it so quickly.
Yeah,
and it's like, guys, it's not ready. You're trying to get customers to spend money. It would be like me spending money on a Game Pass subscription and not getting Activision games. That's crazy. It would never happen.
It's not a thing.
So it's stupid. I don't even know why I said that. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, you're right. We'll see. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Monetization is not optional. There's no argument that works in the boardroom that doesn't involve revenue, right? So you've got to put a price out there and see who signs.
I just mean monetize it immediately.
Yeah.
They went from, they announced the Microsoft 365 Copilot in March, if I'm not mistaken, and productized it in October. I mean, there wasn't a lot there, and there's not a lot there now. But
to that point, you actually have a really interesting article on Thurrott.com in the premium section about Nadella and AI and
but yes.
the commoditization of AI, which is very
this blows my mind. I missed this. And here's the thing. So over the past 30 days, Microsoft has had two major announcements about what they think are called Wave 2 of Copilot, right? There was the commercial version, Microsoft 365 Copilot, followed by, I think 10 days later, the consumer version. Okay. I paid more attention to the consumer version, frankly, but it came up just the other day. Someone referenced Satya Nadella referring to the actual LLMs that power all of their AI as a commodity. And I said, okay, I have to find this.
Wow.
And this is bizarre. But on the day that Microsoft made their Wave 2 announcement for commercial, which I paid less attention to, Satya Nadella posted on LinkedIn, like one does. I'm gonna read the quote, but I'm also gonna pause because I have to break this down. This is what I used to do with Steven Sinofsky. You have to think about what he's saying. As AI becomes more capable and agentic, now, pause, agentic. In other words, agent-based.
Inventing that word, yeah.
Agentic, hilarious. Mm-hmm. Okay, what does that mean? So, and we touched on this, I think, last week. A co-pilot is this thing that helps you do a thing, right? Mm-hmm. You know that, it's beside you. An agent is different because it goes off and works on your behalf in the background, doing things for you.
You
not
give it
proactively, you've programmed it, but it's not working with you. It's going to come back at some point and say, hey, I found something. Mm-hmm. So agentic. So we're moving into this agents, what we used to call background services, really is part of the Wave 2, right? Okay.
Yeah.
As that happens, models themselves, these are the LLMs, right, become more of a commodity. Pause right there. All right. Microsoft has models, of course, but the foundation of this AI push thus far has been OpenAI's models, the ChatGPT models, right? He just said that our biggest partner, one of our biggest partners, this thing we've invested, what is it, $11, $13 billion in?
13.
Has had slightly a rough, weird year with, dramatic comings and goings of people, lots of weird churn. It it triggered them starting their own Microsoft AI business with Suleiman and the people from Inflection, et cetera, et cetera. This, if you're at OpenAI, if you're Sam Altman and you read this, which you would have, or someone would have certainly put it in front of you, that is almost a declaration of war.
It's a shot across the bow.
Right? What you're saying is this company that triggered Microsoft becoming a completely different company, the thing we just talked about, is now a commodity. It's not even 2 years in.
Yeah, part of this is the fact that the OpenAI interface works across multiple models, including ones not made by OpenAI. Like you can plug Llama in through the same interface.
But I also think
if you spend time in that AI studio, there's like 1,000 models in there.
All right, let me. Yeah, no,
It's called any of them.
You're right, So the other thing that's happening concurrently to this is Microsoft's not the only one that reacted to ChatGPT-4. Google has been doing this all along. I think Google, I think, is going to be the turtle that wins this race eventually. But whatever. Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, Apple now, Amazon, right, and then a 100 small, second-tier companies we don't need to name, are all racing to get this stuff, to be on par or better than the others. We've very quickly reached the point where we have alternatives in an LLM market that 2 years ago was so impossible to even play in because of the expense of building out the infrastructure and the size of the data that one would need to deliver something that made any sense whatsoever. That's how fast this market has moved, right? That Microsoft, not this second, but he is saying they are and will do it, could just flip a switch and move over to something that's better anytime they want to or anytime they can, right? Yeah. This is, like I said, declaration
because commodity.
Because commodity. So he continues. All value gets created by how you, and here he means Microsoft, but how you, Microsoft, steer, ground, and fine-tune those models with your business data and workflow. So actually there he's speaking, I'm sorry, it was business customers, who, by the way, are not allowing their business data to go anywhere near this AI, which is the same response. But when one steers, grounds, and fine-tunes models, that's what Microsoft's doing, right? That's Microsoft as the intermediary, right?
Yeah, Microsoft arguably has been in the business of tooling since day one.
There you go. Yeah,
you don't make the language, you make the dev tool for the language.
That's right. So we are we may use this thing on the back end, but you don't have to actually worry what we're using on the back end because we're going to use the best thing we can. It might not be the same thing in 6 months or a year. But what you will know as our customer is that the thing you're doing will always be the best it can be because we are steering, grounding, and fine-tuning these models ourselves, right? And then it says how they compose with the UI layer of human to AI to human interaction. So this is the Copilot agent, whatever it is, UI, the interaction that one would have as a user, I guess, with the AI, which is, we don't really talk about clicking on buttons in a window or something. That's really what he's talking about here. It's like the way that this thing works. And a lot of this stuff is going to be back-end services. Good morning, here's your daily summary, here's your email summary, here's your meeting summary. It's going to be that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, but we are not even 2 years into this. And he has just declared that this thing that is the most crazy computer advance possibly in history is a commodity. It's table stakes. It's what everyone has.
And it's great positioning for undermining the value of the engine versus the value of the interface.
Yep. I find this incredible. And I missed it when he first said this. I didn't even know what happened.
Hey, it's me, Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little snippet from Windows Weekly. If you want to see more and want to catch the whole show, you can subscribe in your favorite podcast client or visit our website, twit.tv/WW. And of course, there's links right below me.